Okay, I've got my main loop in place, I've got my array in place, so I'm collecting words, and now I'm going to continue with my comments. Let me pull out this next piece from my the, the comments that I copied from the program handout. So it says we should calculate which of these string objects is the longest and which is the shortest. Okay. Okay, so I know that I have a list of strings and I'm going to need to go through them. So that sounds like a for loop. And I'm going to need to collect the maximum and minimum ones. And I think that I'll, instead of collecting the string, I know I'm going to need to report the position, which string it was. So I'm just going to keep track of the location in the array and let the array store the strings. So up here at the top, I'm going to say int max index equals -1, and min index equals -1. I could also set these at 0. It doesn't really matter. Like I could assume that the first string is the shortest string until proven otherwise. It's not going to matter because I'm going to make a loop that goes through each one in turn. So the default value is not that important. Okay, let's do a for loop. This is the classic traversal loop, starting from 0 and going up to the length -1. And every time I'm looking for the maximum one, I'm looking for the minimum one. It's actually convenient if I've set my maximum index and minimum indexes to 0, because then I can just say, is the current one less than the current maximum, or greater than the current maximum, or less than the current minimum. Something like this. This is the max min problem you've been doing over and over all semester, just with arrays this time. If word sub I is less than dot length is less than word sub min index, dot length, then I will set the new min index to this one. Let's get my if statement back in gear here. Okay. And then I have a different test for max, of course, the opposite test. If word sub I dot length is greater than the maximum, fix my bug up here since I'm noticing it. And then I'll mention this in a minute. Then I'll set the max index to the current. So what the bug I just fixed was that this is a method call. So string, the length is a method of string, and it's a property of an array. So this is where things get confusing, as if Java wasn't confusing enough already. You just have to be a little careful. You'll get an error. In fact, let me make an error so we can see what the error would be. As I'm writing this loop to collect the min and the max. So I've created an error on purpose. Let's see what the error message is. This one says, I cannot find symbol. Okay, so that's not a great error message, but that is the error message. So it can't find the symbol, and the reason it can't find the symbol is because length is not a property of string, it's a method. Hopefully, by making this error and showing you what it looks like, that will help you figure it out if you make that error as well. One more pass through the compiler. That one seems to work. Okay. Let's at least report the max for now, and then we'll make it look prettier afterwards, just for debugging purposes. Report max and min indexes. Indices. And we'll do max index, min index, and a little bit of testing before we start making the output look beautiful. could do the output as part of my loop well, I can't really, because I guess I have to get to the end of the array before I really know what the maximum and minimum were. So I do have to do it after the loop is done. Okay, so let's just make this easy for us. Okay, so the maximum was the last one, the minimum was the first one. Let's do this again. Similar to the testing that you have done already for find min and find max from the lab. Some different locations. Okay, that's what I expect as well. Now let's see if the middle one. Yeah, index 1 is now the maximum. Yeah, so that's looking pretty good. I'm feeling comfortable about that. In the next video, we'll make the output look nicer.